stand in terms of favorite things to do?
It's right up there. I mean, this is the 9th time I've hosted the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I remember, as you do, when we were at the UFC Fan Expo with like 25 people. Tonight, T-Mobile Arena banged out. Over 2,000 tickets sold, so I'm excited to be here, and of course my guy DC going in. I'm a little anxious about that.
You get to see not only these people on the stage, but also like the moment like they get told they're going to be in the Hall of Fame. I guess from that first-hand perspective, like, can you tell us what you think this moment means to these athletes to be a part of the Hall of Fame?
I think it means even more to a guy like Khabib Nurmagomedov than you could possibly know. I mean, he is just all about this, and I think in large part it's because he feels like his late father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, is going into the UFC Hall of Fame tonight. I mean, this is a family achievement, and even just seeing Khabib backstage, I mean, he's always rooted in humility. I think there's even more humbleness coming off him tonight. It's a special night, and for Daniel to be able to go in with Khabib, I think part of the reason why Daniel was so shocked on our broadcast at UFC 274 when we announced that he was going in was because he kind of felt like, hey man, Khabib's headlining the class, maybe they'll get me in 2023, and headset goes flying, here they are going in together.
Jon, who is one fighter out there right now that you think should be in the Hall of Fame maybe next year that's not in right now?
Well, I could certainly make a case for Jens Pulver, as many people have made when you look back at historically what he was able to do as a pioneer. I think it's interesting when I look at some of the modern day athletes, a guy like Rafael dos Anjos, right? Like, gotta go in, right? But all of a sudden, it just gets to be a big mushroom when you think about a lot of the champions who have won the belt and defended it at least one time. I think all of those men and women need to go in. But if I could publicly campaign for a guy right now, Lil Evil, Jens Pulver for sure.
And do you have a favorite call for Daniel and for Khabib that you've had? I assume the Stipe fight for DC.
Yeah, it was probably the Stipe fight for DC, and I really try not to think about my fight-ending calls and what I'm going to say. As some of you may know, my first night on a UFC microphone was the night Khabib Nurmagomedov made his UFC debut, January 20, 2012 in Nashville, and I'll never forget talking to Joe Silva before his debut. I don't know what the wig's called, but he's wearing it, and he's really special, and let's see what he can do. As far as Khabib calls, probably the 29-0 or the Eagle Flies Again. I try not to think too much about that stuff, but I'm just thankful that I had the chance to obviously call his debut, interview him in the octagon after the fact, and interview him after he walked off into the sunset as well.
So Jon, I got to ask you, you've hosted a few of these press conferences now. You got a little crazy up in there today, did it not?
Today was great. I mean, as you guys know, I used to do a lot of these way back in the day. They've called my number a few times more recently, and that was as electric a press conference as I've been a part of in recent memory. I thought it was interesting that Max Holloway sort of was cordial all week and decided to maybe up the ante and change things up a little bit on press conference day, and then Sean Strickland. I mean, foundationally, he built a fight with Israel Adesanya. If it wasn't already built tonight, and we talked to Izzy earlier today in our fighter meeting, and he very much has the appetite to fight a guy who's 25-3 and riding a 6-fight, potentially 7-fight winning streak. So, yeah, the fabric has been laid for a fight between those two. We'll see if they can take care of business here at UFC 276.
Jon, can you just pose for a quick photo?